What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the RP Experience. I'm your host, Andrew Regenhard with Southwest Sword Real Producers, and today we're going to be talking with Bryan Keane. Bryan, you're one of the top producing agents here in the area, so welcome. Great having you on.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So I'm excited to hear a little bit more and dive into the main topic, which is different challenges that realtors face about shiny objects or new technology and how that really applies to the real estate industry. And then looking at it a little bit more back to the basics or old school approach. So we're excited to kind of hear. To give everyone a listener, all the listeners a little heads up, Bryan had worked in the hospitality management company management before he started his career in real estate. He's been in the industry for about 30 years now and is extremely passionate about what he does. He's a father of two, and both work alongside him at Miloff Aubuchon Realty Group. Took me a few times to get that one down. He also has an English bulldog named Meatball and refers to Meatball as his third child, which is an absolute beauty of a dog. So we're super excited to have you on here, Bryan.
Again, thank you.
So the big topic, today is, again, the shiny objects that these realtors are being approached with the technology or you have to do it this way now and whatnot. Can you give me just an overview of how this market is changing and how that applies to you and your business within real estate?
Yeah, Andrew, obviously I've been in this business now for almost 30 years. When I got into it, we used real estate books. There weren't computers, okay? To see homes that were on the market, we'd have to do Monday ride-alongs to go to each new listing. So obviously things have changed quite a bit. As far as the advertising and marketing today with all the social media platforms, obviously we use those because they connect direct from the multiple listing when you put a home on the listing. But for me, it's more back to the basics. I'll do my mailers, advertise that way. I do have an assistant / partner, Lee. Without her, I could barely turn on off a piece of equipment, but she really keeps things in check. But again, for me, it's back to the basics. I'm out there. I'll do open houses whenever I can. Right now, that's tough because any listings that you get, they sell pretty quick. So having that opportunity to have open houses is pretty rare right now. But other than that, where I get most of my business from is more than 90% of my business is from referrals over the years.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that. I think the book is probably very similar to the younger generation looking at a 3.5 inch floppy and saying, "What's this?"
Or a map.
A map. That's pretty good. Wait, you can't just Google Maps. Is that what you mean? Like maps like that?
Yeah, no.
A little different,
maps,
right? Yeah. Or where you actually had to look at find the spots on there and then figure out the quickest route. It just didn't tell you and adjust for traffic and everything like that. Pretty insane. So yeah, with the market changing, obviously you do have to adapt. What do you find kind of the most challenging when it comes with keeping up with the latest trends? Obviously in the last 30 years, there's been so many different trends going on and you need to do this, you need to do that. What do you think is most challenging when you like to keep it quote unquote old school?
Well, there are a lot of different entities that you can get involved with as a realtor. I mean, you can buy leads from Zillow, Realtor.com, and there are a lot of realtors that do that and are very successful with it. But again, I find myself where I barely have enough time to handle the business that I have with my referrals. So I don't use those platforms, but not to say that they're not good. But again, it's a little bit old school. I've been doing it long enough where I don't really have to reach out that way and to buy leads.
Well, what do you think then when you get the referrals from these people? Why are they referring? Like, what do they like about the whole old school aspect of it?
I tell a lot of these new guys that come or gals that come into the business, I said, I can take anybody off the street and get them a real estate license, and just about anybody can sell a house. But the key is to selling a house to a relative, a neighbor, maybe a relative of a relative, and just keep the chain going. So, I think it's more don't overpromise, but what you do promise, come through with. And, be there for these people when they call. Again, I work a lot. I work just about 7 days a week, morning till night, but I'm there for my clients for when they need me.
Interesting. So with the experience that you have, what is the current challenges that probably leads to also opportunities within the current market right now?
I think now our biggest challenge in our market is inventory. Mm-hmm. There are several buyers now, but again, zero inventory. Mm-hmm. House comes on the market, and obviously it's a nice house. It's priced right. There's multiple offers on that property, and a lot of these are going highest and best. So I think our biggest challenge is that.
How does that turn? How does that? Because every obviously action has a reaction, and every negative is a positive in some way. You can always find one. How do you think that challenge is created? How has that created opportunities within the market?
Well, opportunities in the market now. It's great to be a seller, right? So they're getting top dollar for their properties. Problem is where they go. So, but the new home industry, a lot of building going on now, and it's just our market is just on fire down here right now.
Yeah, it is literally crazy. So now, with no demand, or excuse me, with all the demand and very low supply, there's a lot of times that people are going to get into a home that might not be the brand new, beautiful, perfect home. It might have some aging aspects to it, or it might need some work to be performed to get it up to the level that they want. But again, it's very limited supply. So in that regards, discuss a little bit about the common issue we deal with in Southwest Florida, which is our roofs. We have obviously an issue of hurricanes down here. Sometimes it's just aging roofs. How do you handle the aging roof issue, especially with it applying to insurance?
Well, that is a problem that we're facing now, and there's a lot of these insurance companies that are not insuring the roofs. And so now, although a lot of the homes are priced accordingly for needing a new roof, there's times where they have to work out with the insurance company that the roof is going to be replaced, at least a contract is signed with a contractor for a roof replacement, and it has to be done in a certain amount of time after the closing.
Gotcha. And you're transferring it, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, that wouldn't be a transfer on that. It's where the flood insurance is.
The flood.
Yeah, so it's
you can't transfer over the roof like current.
Well, sometimes those policies are transferable, but
okay.
I think with the thing now with flood insurance,
yeah.
there's a lot of companies that they'll insure for flood insurance, but it's at a very, very high rate.
That's aggressive.
And if you get the policy for the current homeowner, okay, a lot of those are transferable, and people don't realize that you can do that. And there's actually a lot of realtors that don't realize that. I think more and more every day are starting to realize because it's been becoming so prevalent in our market. So it's much cheaper if you can get that transferable policy from the current owner.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's a hot topic right now. We actually had a few podcasts back Matt Nance on here, and he talked about that, and that was the big topic because people are freaking out. People are losing deals from it. It's insane right now. So obviously, father of two kids, three, Meatball too, but now they work alongside of you. So get us up to speed on that, but also just how's the dynamic working with your kids?
Well, my kids work for the same company that I do.
Yeah.
They're both realtors. My son, he's 29, been in business probably about 7 or 8 years, and he actually has a full team that works under him.
That's so cool.
And they're the young, the vibrant, they all into the new techie stuff. So it's kind of fun to watch him.
Yeah.
He always tells me like, I'm a dinosaur. I need to get up with the times, but I'm still killing them every year in sales. And my daughter,
we should have had him on here doing, oh yeah, Dad, you need to get in this tech, and you'd be like, or you just need to write contract, like whatever.
Yeah, he sees this, he'll laugh. But my daughter's realtor, she's had her license for quite some time. She got out of the field, went into medical, and now she's back into it. So it's fun to watch them, that they follow me in my career.
That's super cool. So, well, that's awesome. It's literally a family business in the sense, right? Well, at least all under that brokerage. So, well, cool. Now, one of the obviously newest things within the RP experience here on this podcast, we have 3 questions that we ask all guests. Those 3 are the same questions. So, with the first question, it's a very in-depth question, but how has a failure or an apparent failure set you up for later success? In regards to that, do you have a favorite failure of yours?
Ooh, that's a tough one, I would say. And thinking about this, maybe my biggest failure was not getting into this business earlier.
Interesting.
So
interesting. And can you elaborate on that? Just because of the opportunity, because of the love for it, and in what aspect?
The passion I have for this business it's amazing. The individuals that I meet every day, it's just incredible. All walks of life, all different levels of income, different parts of the world. And I just love talking to them. I love meeting them. And, for me, it's... I like being out there. I like dealing with, a lot of these things involved in a real estate transaction myself. I'll go to all the home inspections. I'll go to the appraisals. I'll do the walkthroughs. So, I'm very, very hands-on.
Yeah. Awesome. When you feel overwhelmed, unfocused, or have a loss of focus temporarily, how do you kick yourself back into gear, or what do you do to get re-engaged?
That's a good one, too. I think that maybe a walk around my complex, smoke a good cigar. One of the things that I'll do also is bounce things off of my assistant. She's awesome. She kind of keeps things in check. So that's a little bit of a relief when I have somebody else's direct opinion that works directly with me. That helps me get through things.
Yeah, it's always good to get advice from people. Sometimes we get stuck in our ways, and I always try to ask people. I had phone calls this morning about some advice within my business, and I'm like, I think I'm doing it what I should be doing, but I have no clue. So can you give me some guidance, So that's cool. I'm surprised you didn't say, you said walk around. So obviously I would say that probably involved Meatball. But I was going to say Meatball probably gives you the best.
The complex that I live in, Cape Harbor, he's like the mayor. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. No matter where I go with him, there's people that I've never seen before. And they'll ask me, and they're like, is that Meatball? And I'm like, yeah. How'd you find out about Meatball? And they're like, oh, my God, that's all anybody ever talks about around here.
Oh, my gosh. I love that. My girlfriend had an English Bulldog, too. And so Meatball is such a fitting name.
Yeah,
so.
Oh, yeah. He's quite the celebrity there.
I love it. So last question of the 3 here. What are bad recommendations and or advice you hear in your profession, obviously within real estate? Because and the prelude to that too, which is perfect, is there is with the new trends and the new technology, and the new agents, sometimes they think their way is the best, or sometimes there's a situation that think, oh, we all have to change to X, Y, and Z, but it's not always the best. So what are you kind of finding that maybe is a trend or something that is relevant right now that really is actually negatively impacting either the industry and or the service to the clients?
That's a tough one. My mind goes in several different directions with that question. One of the things that I'm reluctant to do with clients, although you have to do it now, is virtual showings, FaceTime, whatever. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of that happen, and it kind of unnerves me a little bit because you're putting a home under a contract, and they're trusting the video that you're pretty much setting up and sending them. And there's a lot of times they'll get down or travel here and look at the home and find out that that's not the area or the home they really want. So, and I think the thing that bothers me more than anything is for a seller's standpoint, because now you're taking the house off the market for X amount of time, whatever inspection period or whatever period they have in the contract, and then the home comes back on the market. And as soon as the home comes back on the market, other people that are looking at it are like, well, what's wrong with it? Or something happened in the inspection, or what's going on with the house? So, you know, that's, but again, it's the way it is now. And unfortunately, you have to do it. But I don't like it so much.
Interesting. It's very different than the book of houses, right? That you would flip through and see.
Yeah, well, the book of houses had pictures that were about one by one. They were black and white, so you couldn't tell whether it was a house or a shed. So they were tough.
That's funny. Now you got what, the Matterport stuff, where you can literally virtually walk through it and all this other stuff.
We used the Matterport, and you could click on a little icon of a person, put yourself in a room, walk around. You can click on a ruler. You can measure rooms, so you can kind of look at it from a dollhouse version. Kind of look down at the house without the roof on. It's amazing technology today.
That's absolutely insane. I love it. Well, Bryan, we are running out of time, but I really appreciate you on here. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. As always, RP Experience is extremely thrilled to have you here, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned to the next episode. So thank you, Bryan, for joining us.
Thank you for having me here. I'm honored.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Thank you.